Now it's time to press buttons and talk with Manky and ProZD.
Who is the mystery person that Maya actually saw?
We'll find out.
Despite it being so dark that she couldn't see the face of the attacker in front of her. No!
Who was it? Tell us.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna look it up.
No. Yeah, I'm gonna Google it on Wikipedia. This whole game is on here.
That's a mindfuck. Order! What in the world does this all mean, Mr. Wright? Are you saying Ms. Faye saw the real killer under pitch black conditions?
Objection! Trite, do you have any idea what you're proposing? How could she have seen in the dark? There was no other light source at the scene.
Objection! There are some things that you can only see in the dark, Mr. Godot. Maya, you did see who the killer was in the dark. And now, you're trying to cover for him.
Cover? For the man that killed her mother?
There's only one conclusion I can draw from this. You know who this man is.
Please, Nick. I don't know anything. Please, I'm begging you.
Ha! You talk a good game, Trite. But let's see if you can walk the walk. It was pitch black, so what could the witness see? I'm calling your bluff.
No, Nick, don't. Please, stop.
Maya's dead set on protecting this guy. The man who murdered Maya's long-lost mother. But I can't let him get away with it. I'm a lawyer, an officer of the court. I'm here to find the truth.
All right, Mr. Wright. Time to show us what you've got. Who was this person that you say Ms. Faye saw in the darkness?
Well, the only person who would be very visible in the darkness
would be somebody with
a big glowing red
visor
thing. Because it was pitch black, Miss Faye was able to recognize the killer easily. I'm sure the court would like to see for itself how this is possible, yes? Got a cool idea.
What? But how do you propose to show us something like that?
All we have to do is wait for somebody outside to run into one of the dangling cables. It's easy. We just need to recreate the conditions of that night.
Conditions?
Your Honor, the defense officially requests
to light the courtroom on fire.
That all the... That's another good plan, but I don't think it would achieve the results that we want. That all the lights in this courtroom be turned off. Just wait a minute. There's one. Rest in peace.
What? This is... But it can't be. Huh.
That was a nice bit of deduction. Trite.
Well, everyone, this is the man Maya saw on the night of the murder.
Who's he talking about?
The judge? You just turned the lights off for a little bit. I squinted my eyes.
Order!
I could kind of see Bill's silhouette.
Prosecutor Godot, what is the meaning of this? Surely you must be shocked to hear yourself accused of such a thing. Why aren't you denying it?
Your Honor, you're asking the wrong person.
What do you mean by that?
If you've got a question, ask the witness. That's one of my cool rules.
Godot's cool rules.
Thank you.
Well, Maya, how about it? What you saw that night, was it 3 glowing red lights?
Well, witness, answer the question.
You're wrong. I never saw that. Maya, I thought the person that stabbed my mother was a man. For a totally different reason. What?
Oh, that clears it up.
No, that's
I was worried. It couldn't be
Maybe it was Mr. Magoo.
Well, witness, Mr. Wright.
Stop your chattering, Your Honor.
Chattering.
It's funny he's saying
cold.
chattering while he's sort of
It's very cold in here.
If it's worth asking, ask the witness. That's another one of my cool rules.
Cool rules.
All right.
I brought a tiny trumpet for this.
Well, then let's continue with the testimony.
You know I'm gonna play it.
Please tell us how you knew the killer was a man. This is
That's going to
not the right time for that.
no.
Yes, Your Honor. I didn't realize it until after I woke up, but
Stop that now.
You can't just do it for every little moment.
when I came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor. By the time I got back to the garden,
He's like got it up. And everybody's like staring at him like, you son of a bitch, don't do it.
by the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone. And all of the snow around the stone lantern had been carefully cleaned up too. Since the person did all the work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
I'm not doing it.
So it was after the crime took place that the witness came to think the killer was a man.
Yes, that's right. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
No need to apologize. It's as Mr. Godot said, you're utterly exhausted. It's only natural that you would be a little confused. Also, if you consider the situation you described, it doesn't seem too much of a stretch to assume the criminal was a man.
I can't get it out.
Mr. Wright, proceed with your cross-examination. Okay, give me that.
Oh, come on. It's a little trumpet. It's smaller than an average trumpet.
When it came to, I was just lying there on the training hall floor.
Uh-oh.
By the time I got back to the garden, the place had totally changed. The torches were lit, and the body was gone.
Huh. The body was gone.
Yeah, that's odd. All the snow around had been cleaned up, too. Where's the body? The torches were lit. Would you say they're lit AF?
Yes, that's how I noticed the whole scene had changed.
It was a stoned lantern.
I'm going to say it was the killer who lit the torches. I mean, who else could it be? Our Weed Joke episode went up on 420,
I saw
which
that.
I'm very proud of.
Which we planned so well.
Super duper planned.
The killer probably lit them since it'd be impossible to do any cover-up work in the dark. However, if that's true, there's one thing that still bothers me. Why did the killer go to the effort of moving the body?
That's true. It's hard to see how that would be of any advantage to the killer. The only one who would gain anything from that would be the only person that was at the inner temple, Maya. Huh.
Very well. Let me hear some more about the condition of the crime scene.
Okay. And all the snow around the stone lantern had to be carefully cleaned up.
Press that.
Too. Okay. Shababa. So you're saying the killer cleaned up the snow? It did look really odd. The snow was removed in an unnatural looking rectangular shape around the lantern.
There were a lot of shovels around the inner temple, but they're all really heavy. Way too heavy for me to use. I'm just, well, girl.
An odd fellow indeed, this killer. Why on earth would anyone want to take snow away?
Well, there's one thing I can think of. Didn't you say that a lot of the victim's blood sprayed onto the snow?
Yeah. The area I collapsed in ended up being splattered.
In other words, the killer's purpose was to hide the bloody snow. I think that's the most reasonable explanation.
Perhaps. However, there's something that's bothering me.
Always something bothering you.
Well, I got a canker sore and
Yeah.
I was late for work today. If the killer just wanted to hide the snow with blood on it,
Is that why we were waiting for an hour this morning?
yeah, it might be.
Wow,
There was no need to remove that amount.
that's true. He could have scooped up just the snow that was stained with blood. It's weird.
It looks like there are some mysteries behind this issue.
But I think this will help explain them. Since the person did all that work alone, I just assumed it was a man.
Go back to the... Let's see, go back a couple.
Okay, torches were lit. The body was gone.
We're gonna,
By the time I got back to the
Okay,
garden-
how about this? Press here.
Okay. Garden had totally changed. Naturally, the killer must have done it, right?
Yes, I think so.
But why would the killer tamper with a crime scene like that? There must have been something that the killer desperately wanted to hide.
The truth is, when I saw the crime scene, I felt something.
You did?
Yes. I felt like the killer was hiding the evidence for me. For my sake.
What? Hiding it for you?
Everyone knew that I was the only one at the inner temple that night. If Sister Bikini had come back and looked at the garden,
she may have thought that you had done it.
No, she definitely would have thought so.
Okay, Your Honor.
And you're saying that's why the killer... I'm not trying to one-up you. I'm just saying it's a good point. You stop being so self-conscious. Clean up the crime scene and make it look like nothing had happened.
Actually.
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Well, that's certainly an important piece of information. I want you to add that to your testimony.
No.
Yes.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
I wanted to try, because witnesses always do it. Like, what if you don't want to? He goes, for my sake, the killer cleaned up the evidence of what had happened.
Okay, so now here's what's interesting about that.
Okay.
If you think about the crime scene, what was not cleaned up?
Oh, for her sake. So then why did we...
Why was that not...
Is that a separate piece of evidence? Or
no, it's the lantern.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, I never know with this game. And why did they not do this? The body of Elise Donim was carried all the way to the Hazakura Temple's courtyard. Then at the garden, the real scene of the crime, the snow that we suspect was covered in blood was scooped up and removed. It's reasonable to believe all this was done in an attempt to hide the true crime scene. However, there's still one matter that seems somewhat odd.
Oh? And what would that be?
You must have figured it out by now, Mr. Godot. It's the message written in blood on the lantern. It was written very clearly on the white stone lantern. Maya. If the killer was so motivated to protect Maya from suspicion, then why didn't he wipe the writing off the lantern?
Ah! You're right!
Maybe he thought it was like part of like art.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the lantern's design. Didn't want to fuck it up. Ever think of that?
Banksy.
Order, order, order! But Mr. Wright, isn't it a fact that the killer was trying to cover up the crime scene?
Indeed. I mean, yeah. But
Yes.
I don't know why I shook my head. But it doesn't make much sense to move the body and remove the bloody snow.
No,
the
you're
bloody
right.
snow. Then not wipe off the most incriminating thing of all, the bloody writing.
Objection! But if that's the case, do you have an explanation for the killer's mysterious behavior?
Why people act mysterious? Everybody's weird.
Why would this killer... Why would this killer move the body and remove all that snow?
Let's stop drinking
But
beans.
then leave the... Sorry, I had a bean in my throat. But then leave the bloody writing on the lantern. The bloody writing.
If this were in England, that would be cuss words and it'd be kind of scandalous. I don't know what the killer's plan was, but it's a fact that the killer left the writing on the lantern. There must be a reason for it.
Well then, Mr. Wright, let's hear your opinion.
Oh, my opinion?
Why did the killer leave the message written in blood on the lantern?
Killer didn't notice
Couldn't
it.
see? Didn't notice it.
Yeah, it's Prosecutor Godot. Earlier in this trial, you gave me some good advice. Once you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth.
Do I drag out my words like that?
You're still
Maybe you're
doing
not
it.
as dumb as I thought.
The real killer wanted to disguise the fact that a crime occurred there. If that's the case, they wouldn't have left the bloody writing on the stone lantern on purpose. Therefore, it must mean they didn't notice it.
But that doesn't make any sense. The torches were all lit and everything. There's no way any normal person would miss something as glaring as...
Oh, fuck. You're right. There is no way any normal person would.
What? What are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
There's only one person involved in this incident. Who could have missed seeing... Actually, there's multiple people involved. Who could have missed seeing the bloody writing altogether.
And who would that be?
Come on.
Who is the person that could have failed to notice the bloody writing?
come on.
The bloody writing!
Bloody writing, it's bloody Godot, you fucking idiots. Mr. Godot, this is what you said yesterday.
My eyesight is pretty messed up. Even with these huge goggles on my head, I still can't see everything.
Can you see why I get
Is it because red?
I see things in red.
You can't see everything.
Maybe we'll see everything next time. And maybe
And see why kids love Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
might be the finale next time, but I'm not sure.
We'll see.
It'll be the last or the second to
done,
last.
I think.
So get hyped. I guess you'll know by how I label the episodes. So
All right.
get hype.